to Wednesday night football from the Ontario Soccer Centre, home of Toronto FC2. Young Reds taking on St. Welcome to Wednesday Night Football from the Ontario Soccer Centre, home of Toronto FC2. Tonight, the Young Reds taking on St. Louis FC. Justin Morrow's in the house. He's having a great season for TFC in the MLS, and he'll be watching Jordan Hamilton having a great year for the Young Reds. Also in the lineup here this evening will be Tsubasa Endo. Hello everyone, welcome inside. Matt Antonio here with Terry Downfield. TFC2 kicking off a 3-game homestand here tonight. They'll be looking to build off a 3-2 dramatic victory on Saturday. Jordan Hamilton scored the winner. We'll highlight him right off the bat. He has been fantastic this season.
He really has been, Matt. There's a real maturity to his game this season. Not only is he scoring goals, he's a leader for this young team as well up top. His overall game's improving nicely. He's holding the ball up. He's looking to run in behind. He's been a real He's converting those opportunities now, and he's taking everything in his stride. It's not easy trying to break in ahead of Toe St. Ricketts, Javinko, Altidore. TFC's first place in MLS right now, but he's biding his time. He's sharp, and he's ready for when that opportunity comes. On
the other side, Christian Voleski has 4 goals for St. Louis this season. Previously, we saw him with the Rochester Rhinos.
Yeah, a real athlete of a striker. He's dynamic. He's quick. In 2015, in the MLS Combine, he won play tournament. He came second in the 30-meter dash. In the agility test, he won that. He'll look to run in behind. He's extremely quick. He's the Jamie Vardy of the USL. He's probably better than this standard. He's had opportunities in the MLS with the Portland Timbers. Sporting Kansas City just hasn't been able to stick.
Let's take a look at the starting 11 for both sides, starting with the home club. Angelo Cavalluzzo, fresh off an 8-save performance on Saturday, is back in goal. Ben Spencer, a reserve on the USL Team of the Week, will play alongside Jordan Hamilton. And on the other side, for St. Louis, it'll be Devala Goric between the pipes and Daniel Jackson running alongside Christian Voleski. It's a gorgeous night for football, as mentioned. Toronto kicking off the 3-game homestand. 6 of the final 7 are here at home as they push for a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Kickoff is next from Toronto.
Starting 11 has some autograph balls and Cardinal Ladders fans. Let's hear you. Make some noise.
21 gorgeous degrees Celsius, 74 Fahrenheit as we approach kickoff. Let's take a look at the managers for both clubs. Jason Bent, as usual, looking sharp for Toronto FC2. Very happy with his team's performance over the weekend. We'll look to build on that. And a familiar face for Toronto fans on the other side, a former TFC bench boss, Preki.
Yeah, former TFC coach. previously managed in this league at Sacramento, did a wonderful job there. First season in Sacramento, actually finished second in the league and went on to win the championship match.
St. Louis will be in the white kits. They'll be moving from left to right on your screen. Toronto in red, going from right to left. Looks like St. Louis will possess the ball first. And they have struggled away from home this year. Just 2-7-3 as the visitors. And just one win in their last 10 away from home. They've alternated wins and losses over their last 5, 2-3-0. They have not won since their victory over Toronto back in June. Or excuse me, they have struggled since their victory over Toronto back in June. It was the only meeting between those two teams this season. June the 2nd, a 2-0 victory for St. Louis. A.J. Cochran and Christian Valesky scoring goals on that night.
Yeah, Cochran set-piece goal off a corner kick, was wide open at the back post, and Valesky punished TFC in the second half, running in behind. Real clinical finish, though he's yet to score since then.
Ashton Morgan looked like he took a arm to the face there. Morgan playing left back here this evening.
Yeah, he's normally a left wing back in Jason Bent's 3-5-2 system. Today we'll see him play on the left side of a back three. Hasn't played a whole bunch there, played there against Charlotte. Did quite well in the 3-2 victory.
Scored a goal, the first goal for TFC2 on that night. And no Mitch Tainter tonight, getting a well-deserved night off. Toronto, as I mentioned, starting this 3-game homestand, 3 games in 10 nights. It'll be a total of 4 games in 14 nights if you go back to last Saturday. And Tainter has played a lot of football for the Young Reds this year, so he gets a night off, and Brandon Aubry will draw back in the center back position we saw him occupy for much of the first half of the season. Brian James wearing the captain's armband in Tainter's absence this evening.
Normally we see Brian James play a little bit higher up the pitch. Today he'll anchor the defense, just sat in front of the back three where he played in the opening game of the season against Arizona. Normally he's more of an attacking midfielder, Matt.
Should also mention that St. Louis is without their leading goal scorer, Seth Rudolph, leads the team with 5 goals. He is serving a suspension for the red card he picked up in Saturday's loss to Rochester. That's off the left foot of Ali Hodzik and well over the goal. It was a 2-1 loss at Rochester on Saturday night for St. Louis. Their first of 3 straight away from home. They'll be in Ottawa on Sunday.
Yeah, it was difficult to lose him under the circumstances. St. Louis went up through the left back. Howe scored a free kick from distance after 3 minutes, and then after 6 minutes, he gets sent off on the line for, he just reacts, puts his hand out, stops what would be a goal, gets a straight red card, and all of a sudden, St. Louis are down to 10 men for 85 minutes.
Toronto won in large part because they were up a man for a good portion of the second half and capitalized, scoring 3 goals in a 7-minute span. Ashton Morgan, Ben Spencer, and Jordan Hamilton. Jordan Hamilton's winner from Saturday is up for the USL Goal of the Week, vying to be the second TFC2 player this season to win that award. You can vote for Jordan Hamilton on USL.com.
A real tidy finish from Jordan Hamilton. Just turned onto his weaker right foot in very little space and ripped it top shelf.
I should correct myself, it's USLsoccer.com. We say that often enough. Make sure we send people to the right spot.
Yeah, wonderful comeback from the Young Reds. Charlotte went down to 10 men, but TFC kept pushing and pushing, and once they had that momentum with them, they really were ruthless and punished Charlotte.
There's Daniel Jackson in the middle for Bierman. Another volleyed attempt there coming from Ali Hodzik, doesn't connect. Just to tie a bow on the point from Saturday night, USL announcing earlier today that Alex Martinez, who received that red card against Toronto on Saturday, he has been suspended for 4 matches. following that incident.
That's a big suspension from the USL, and rightly so. You can't spit at players, and that's what he got the red card for. And for me, that's the lowest of the low, and that should not belong in this game anywhere in the world.
St. Louis working down the left side, and that'll be deflected out for a corner. Will be the first of the night for either side, coming to St. Louis here as we approach 5 minutes played here at the Ontario Soccer Centre.
Yeah, McCurry does a good job just tracking back there, gives a corner.
We take it by Ryan Howe. He scored the opener, as you mentioned, on Saturday.
Yeah, he's got a wonderful left foot, a real wand.
This falls down for Valesky, and that shot is blocked. Came off the foot of Adam Pleva.
Yeah, a little bit lucky it comes to Pleva at the back post, but Telfer's alive. He's on his toes. He's in this zonal system. Once it comes into your zone, it's important that you step out. Watch Telfer just put his body on the line for the team.
Will be a corner from the opposite side now, or camera side down to the right.
Ryan Howe, he takes all the set pieces for St. Louis FC.
Great shot from our camera crew there. It sends it into the box, headed away, and Jordan Hamilton will try to push it out for Toronto. It's reclaimed by St. Louis.
Real important header for Aubrey. He's just lacked a little bit of confidence. He's found himself on the outside looking in, and you discussed it, Matt, how good Mitch Tainter's form's been. It's a big opportunity for Aubrey tonight, and starting the game with a real commanding, powerful header like that will be important for his confidence.
Pleva on the near side for Austin Ledbetter. Play through the middle for Jackson, trying to link up with Bierman. Still Jackson, marked closely by Morgan. Ali Hodzik sends it far side for Mirkovic.
Mirkovic actually played, Matt, for Preki in 2015 when they won the championship. 30 years old, he comes back and plays for his former manager, now in St. Louis. Captain of the team tonight.
There's Malik Johnson. He's taken down, and that'll be a yellow card to Adam Pleva. And our referee tonight, let's introduce him. Man that we've seen on a few occasions this season is David Barry. And he's always insistent that when you're going into the book that you come stand directly in front of him.
Good observation.
And we've seen that a few times this year where he has halted play and, you know, reset play while he waits for the player to come to him. In this case, he's gonna approach
the championship. Here we get another look at it. You can see the pitch is a little bit dewy tonight. He's playing a little bit quicker. Malik Johnson 1-2 with Brian James. Quick change of pace, and Pleva mistimes that tackle big time. Easy yellow card for David Barry. I think the quicker pitch tonight, the little bit of dew, making like the slow turf quicker, Matt, will really suit TFC too.
Trying to pick out Ryan Telfer down that left side. Unsuccessful, but Toronto's won the throw.
Good quick feet from Malik Johnson to get away from play, but just sucks him in, and then a wonderful change of pace. Playing as an attacking midfielder, normally we see him wide in the 7 or 11 position. Today he's in that attacking midfield role where he can run from deep.
Brandon Onconi having a little bit of trouble pulling that down. And not quite able to pick out Jordan McCreary, but Tsubasa Endo is there to help out and keep it in Toronto's possession. Back to Cavalluzzo.
Quite interesting, Matt. St. Louis and Preki teams are known for playing 4-4-2 with a real workman-like system. 2 flat fours with 2 up top that work their socks off today. Just change their system a little bit. It looks like they're playing a box in midfield with 2 holding midfielders and 2 narrow players in front of them.
It's Johnson for Spencer. Spencer out wide to the right for McCreary. Has Endo pressing forward. Has Spencer in there as well. Lofted up a little bit too high. and kind of landed in between Spencer and Ryan Telfer. And Toronto's not able to get a good scoring opportunity out of that chance.
Toronto looked very good and quick in transition there. Comes out to McCreary. He's got enough quality. It was a good near post run from Endo. He brought bodies with him. You don't need to be too precise when you have 6'4" Spencer in the box. Spencer made up 40, 50 yards to get into the box, and McCreary just overhits it. All you've got to do in that situation is just hang it up at the back post. Give Ben Spencer something to attack. It was wonderful to see him score his first goal for TFC and TFC2 last week against Charlotte. Real brave goal. He bundled over the line. That goal to make it 2-2.
Back for Kevala Goric, making his 11th appearance tonight. The two keepers for St. Louis have split the work pretty evenly. Adam Grinwis, who is the backup this evening, has played 12 to Goric's 10.
Not sure I like that, Matt. If I'm a goalkeeper, I'd love a run at games. Goric didn't play last week, but he steps on. He's got a ton of experience. He's got quite the passport. He spent his youth career playing for Bayern Leverkusen. Then once he went pro, he played in Thailand, Puerto Rico, Canada with Ottawa, also played in Sweden. In 2009, he was called into the U.S. camp to help the U.S. team prep for the 2010 Cup in South Africa. And when we get a little bit of time, I'll get into it. He actually owns his own film company.
Can't wait to hear that story later on in the broadcast.
Do you like how I teased that out?
I did. We'll have to make sure we get back to it. I'll make a note that we'll get back to it.
He produced Lion King. No, I'm joking.
Stumble there for Ashton Morgan is going to give an opportunity to St. Louis. Jackson tries to cross it in. It's deflected away by Brandon Aubry. Not a surprise to see St. Louis switch up the goalkeepers, though. They, like Toronto, are in a stretch of their second game in 5 days. And by the time they play, well, I guess they play on Sunday, so it'll be 3 games in 9 days. For Toronto, it'll be 3 and 8. Cavalluzzo gets the call again for Toronto, and we'll see what Jason Bent decides to do on Saturday when they're at home against Rochester. Nice ball played in for Valesky. He's marked closely. And there from Ashton Morgan. Valesky trying to free up for Jackson. It's intercepted by Brian James and out to Ben Spencer. He pushes over for Endo. Endo is just going to hammer this up the pitch.
Yeah, Jordan Hamilton, just on the wrong page there. Jordan Hamilton pulled out wide to try to get the ball. I think Endo thought he was going to run through the middle. Just before that, it was a great ball, wonderful shape on it from Ledbetter. Picks out Valesky. We spoke about it in our pregame show. Valesky loves to run in behind. Just pulled off Ashton Morgan's shoulder, held the ball up well, tried to pick out Jackson. Might have been better to get Ledbetter, followed that run up the pitch, just put it into his path.
McCreary whistled there. Here's Eli Hodzit. Near side for Ledbetter. Works away from Telfer. Slides it in for Bierman. Comes back to Jackson. Again, Bierman. It's Ryan Howe. Howe pushing forward against Endo. Sends it out. Back in for Ali Hodzic.
TFC2 are just struggling to get to grip with this real narrow midfield.
There's a strike from Ledbetter, and it's over the goal.
The ball movement through the middle of the park, through that direct game channel from one side to the other is very good from St. Louis. Here we see it just moving across the middle of the park, finding that extra man. It's a 3-on-4 in the middle of the park. Comes out to Ledbetter. Just off balance a little bit, leans back, goes into the parking lot. Possibly when it's like this, Matt, either Jordan Hamilton or Ben Spencer needs to just drop back deep on that deep line midfielder, stop that outlet ball back to the holding midfielder.
Just approaching 14 minutes played. No score here in Toronto. Telfer for James. Again, Telfer. Clearance takes a deflection. Amir Ali Hodzic. Right-footed strike, great save, Cavalluzzo. Rebound is loose, and Cavalluzzo jumps on it.
Great strike from Delgard. One touch to set himself. And it's a real quick release, and he gets a ton of power on that strike. It's dipping, there's topspin on it. Cavalluzzo, real great shot stopper, gets over, does well not to spill his rebound, picks it up.
He's moved up to a tie for 10th place in the USL. That would be his 60th save of the season in 15 appearances, averaging just over 4 per game.
Up for save of the week again on the hour mark. Again, Charlotte made a wonderful save, real Hollywood save to keep the team in it.
I believe it was it still 2-0 at that point?
Yeah, it goes 3-0 at that point.
That's one of those ones that you put the asterisk on it, especially in a game where Toronto comes back. Inconceivable to think that they could come back from 3-0, even a man up.
No, I think that would have been a big ask. Real Hollywood save. Milked it for everything, got up and was walking around with his chest out. Real happy for him, came through the academy. I'm fortunate enough to coach the under-14 team in the academy now at TFC.
Really?
Cavalluzzo helps out with the goalkeeping coaching within the academy as well. Just real all-round good guy.
And we've talked about it a few times, but for anybody who this might be their first broadcaster tuning in tonight, really, the plan was not for him to play as much as he had this season. The injury to Clint Irwin early in the year meant Mark Pace had to go up and back up Alex Bono, which left Cavalluzzo as the #1 guy here with TFC2, and he was fantastic during that stretch, and there's really no reason for Jason Bent not to continue giving him some work. And they, like St. Louis, have sort of split the appearances when both guys have been available. Hamilton trying to win that away. Does so successfully. McCreary will try to clear. Not able to pick out Endo.
St. Louis has been a real good start to the game. First 15, 16 minutes. Territory-wise, they've really got the two wing-backs, McCreary and Telfer, pinned right back. Telfer and McCreary need to try to take the midfielders the other way.
And that'll be out for a goal kick. Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget, SiriusXM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check uslsoccer.com for dates and times.
I spoke about the facets of Jordan Hamilton's game developing very nicely. There's another wonderful example of it. He uses not only his technique and skill to keep hold of the ball, but his strength to hold off a defender and keep TFC2 in possession.
5 goals in 7 games for Jordan Hamilton with TFC2 this season. Here's Endo. McCreary. On Coney. Brian James. Morgan. Telfer. Spencer. Not enough power on that to get it to Endo. It's intercepted.
Yeah, I think he was just looking for Jordan Hamilton to play with there. Jordan just on his heels a little bit. Could see that Spencer was in trouble, looking for a little 1-2 there. Jordan didn't quite show for him.
There's Brian James. Through the middle from Malik Johnson. Johnson with a little bit of space. Johnson runs right at Tony Walls.
A good tackle from Walls there. Great ball from Brian James to break the lines and set Malik Johnson off.
Telfer trying to pick out Spencer. And not a surprise, this one gets whistled down. Looked like Spencer pushed his man. If Spencer had been able to make contact, whistle would have come a little bit earlier.
Yeah, some good football here. TFC doing what St. Louis have been doing to them. Move the ball quickly on this slick surface across. Wonderfully shaped ball in from Telfer. Just before Ben Spencer comes into his pictures, he's just got 2 hands on the St. Louis defender.
Daniel Jackson getting a little bit of attention from the medical staff, and he'll have to head off momentarily. Well, we've got a moment. Let's show you Angelo Cavalluzzo's save from a few minutes ago.
Wonderful view from the goal cam. Look how quickly he gets it off his feet, Delgard. Danish player, been playing in the lower leagues, gets a good strike on goal. Look, it's a save Cavalluzzo should make, but he does a wonderful job just keeping that rebound close to him. You could see the St. Louis attacker on him right away for any big rebounds. Delgard, this is his first season with St. Louis. The last couple years, been playing in the NASL with Oklahoma.
Telfer pushes forward for Endo. A little congestion in the area. Will free it up for Morgan. Again, comes through to Endo. Able to get it to Malik Johnson. Morgan heads forward for Endo. Lots of space to find McCrary. And he's not able to get around the defender, and St. Louis mounting a quick counterattack. Trying to pick out Valesky. He's not able to handle cleanly. And Bierman for Ledbetter.
Wonderful defending from Oncone. It was an overload situation. It was a 2-on-1 against him. He just delayed nicely, allowed TFC2 to get back into shape.
McCrary for Endo. Has Hamilton to his right. Picks him out. Spencer in towards the middle. Hamilton trying to cross, not able to do so. Second effort, unsuccessful as well. And it's taken by Ryan Howe. Only as far as Brian James. McCrary not able to hold for Toronto.
Walls defended quite well in a 1v1 situation. Jordan Hamilton had a little bit of space. It looked like he had his beating. Wall does well to stick with him.
There's an obvious pun there. I'm not going to say it.
You're better than that, aren't you?
That's why I'm not going to say it. What everybody else
You know you want to say it.
Everyone else at home can say it. No, I'm not going to do it. Maybe later.
Be interesting to see if they have a wall on a set piece. Shocking.
You said it, not me. There's also a Game of Thrones reference I could make, but if anybody watching is not caught up, this is a spoilers-free zone. You watch Game of Thrones?
I do. I'm not caught up, though, so I'm so glad you didn't say it. I'm just one episode short.
That information's a lot of power, Terry. I'm glad that
Our producer's just been in my ear. No more Game of Thrones. What about the Dragon Lady?
There's Ryan Telfer pushing forward. Telfer with an opportunity. His shot is blocked and will roll out for a throw.
Again, good 1v1 defending from the other center half. Pleva. Telfer is very good. Very direct player. Loves to drive it at defenders. Again, shows us what he's good at.
Cross wide for McCrary. He's watched by Howe. Played in for Endo. That took a deflection and out for a corner. That play really starts with the excellent footwork here from Ryan Telfer.
Yeah, you just watch him there. He just lifts his head up. He knows when the defender's coming. That's a horrible feeling, Matt. It's never happened to me, probably you a few times. Ledbetter just dives in, tries to get back. All of a sudden, Telfer's in open space, and that's where he's so good. But good defending from Pleva.
Comes down, Morgan, Hamilton. Oh, and a great block by the defender. And out for another corner. Jordan Hamilton thought he had it, and it's saved off the line.
Are you kidding me? What a block from Mirkovic on the line. The captain really steps up for his team after a scramble. Comes to Jordan Hamilton's hammer of a left foot. Mirkovic just slides over, gets his body in front of it, goes out for another corner.
Endo plays this in again. Hamilton with another opportunity. And I think that was deflected last touch by Ben Spencer, and it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, another wonderful opportunity. This time on Hamilton's right foot. It's a great ball, outswinger from Endo. Comes right into the path of Hamilton, times his run to perfection, just gets away from his marker. And then I think it hits maybe Ben Spencer or Aubrey just in front of the goalkeeper who defends it and goes out for a goal kick. TFC2 looking very dangerous on set pieces. Endo's quality is so good, man.
Jordan Hamilton, I'm sure his eyes lit up at that opportunity. Very nearly a 6th goal of the season. Tonight, just his 8th appearance.
He's done everything right. He almost hit it too sweet. Normally when you sclaff those do then go into the back of the net. Yugoslavian Mirkovic, what a stop that is.
He's gonna have a bruise on his left knee tomorrow.
And I think he just shifts half a yard as well to stop it. It doesn't just hit him on the line.
Cleared by Onconi. And not able to corral that as Dalgard, and out for a Toronto goal kick. One more look at the goal-saving block.
Good job, he blocks. The coaches hate that when you've got a player's hand on the post, you're just leaning. Hand comes off the post, he's alive. Just shifts slightly to stop that strike from Jordan Hamilton. Wonderful block from Mirkovic. No wonder he brought him back, former players. Managers are like that sometimes. They've got a player that you know exactly what you're going to get from him. He's a leader. And obviously they won a championship together in 2015 in Sacramento. The assistant coach, Chris Pozniak, actually played for Preki for Chivas in 2007. Once Bob Bradley got the job with the U.S. men's national team, Preki took over in Chivas, and assistant coach Chris Pozniak of TFC2 played for Preki. Wonderful career as a player as well, played till he was 42. Had another 7 years left in the tank. Just needed that Yugoslavian blood in me. No, there was rumors actually. He left, Preki left Sacramento, and they just won a championship, and you're thinking, why are you leaving Sacramento? There's MLS possibilities of being an expansion club, stepping up from the USL to the MLS, and he was actually linked to the Leicester job, and at the last minute, Ranieri took over, and the rest is history from there. Ranieri went on and won the league. So how much truth in that, only Preki and a few will know.
Put together a 11-11-10 record between 2009-2010 and his brief stint in Toronto. And jokes aside, but that record, you know, not too bad considering the carousel of coaches that was going through the organization at that time.
Yeah, I just missed playing for him. I'm told he works the players extremely hard, and he knows exactly what he wants from them. Doesn't mind a double session. But if you buy into what he's selling, it can be a very difficult team to come up against. And we've seen in his career as a manager, he's had some success. Speaking of MLS expansion clubs, I'm sure St. Louis, they've had bids and aren't a million miles off from possibly stepping up into the MLS one day.
Be interesting if the now absence of their NFL club, the Rams having moved to Los Angeles, that opens the door for you know, a move of that nature. You have to wonder what that might do to the fan base for St. Louis FC. Some of the Rams fans that don't have American football anymore make the conversion to USL. Here's Endo. Endo for Johnson, chips it just over.
I don't think Malik Johnson there knew how much time he had. Wonderful turn from Endo to create a little bit of space for Malik Johnson. Gets it to Malik Johnson extremely early. Malik Johnson, if he gets his head up, he's got time to take his touch, set himself. Instead, he hurries his shot and hits it wide of the goal. Could have just took a touch there to set himself. Tries to bend it around the center half. But just going back to St. Louis and their possible expansion to the MLS, Jim Kavanagh and the ownership group were looking for some public funding, $60 million. There was a vote in St. Louis. Unfortunately, it didn't go through, 47 to 53. They were just 3,300 votes short of securing that public funding, but Kavanagh and the ownership group were willing to put a new stadium in and obviously paid that $150 million expansion fee.
That was part of the undoing for the St. Louis Rams as well. They're just not willing to use public funds to build a new stadium there, and ultimately Los Angeles said they would. And the rest is history.
At the moment, St. Louis FC, they're playing in a 5,500 seat suburban stadium, just in an industrial park. So if they were to make the step up to the MLS, they'd need more than that.
Yep.
We wish them, though, all the best in their bids.
Absolutely.
Moving forward to the MLS, I think they've got a little bit of competition in Cincinnati that's quite close in proximity. I think it's maybe only a 5-6 hour drive, and they're getting insane crowds.
Yeah, they're
Again,
averaging 18,000 a night.
they've been north of 30 plus, and obviously had that wonderful run in the Open Cup.
That's out for the goal kick as Telfer defends that well.
Yeah, we don't normally see that facet in Telfer's game. He's a real attacking winger. When he first came to the club from York University, he was playing as a number 9. There we see him defending and tracking back and showing all that hard work tactically does pay off for the team and himself.
There's Endo pushing through, and it's knocked away.
Just missing that final cutting edge in that final third.
On this near side is Ledbetter. Ali Hodzic.
We can see Jordan Hamilton now and Ben Spencer just at the top of your pictures there doing a better job stopping that deep line midfielder from playing.
Bierman. Ali Hodzic. Jackson. Dispossessed by James. There's Spencer. McCrary. Endo. Hamilton. Endo. Down the left side trying to pick out Telfer. Ledbetter will send it back to his keeper, Gorick.
Right idea from Endo, trying to switch it from one side to the other. Telfer actually drew Ledbetter out. The better ball might have been just a little clip ball into Malik Johnson in the pocket. More times than not, though, you see the fullback tuck in and allow that wide ball to come. This time Ledbetter almost baited Endo into hitting that ball and picks it up.
Going forward is Dalgard.
Good one-on-one defending. I've said it a few times. This time from Monconi. Gets beat, recovers well.
There's Malik Johnson. Finds Hamilton on the right side. Hamilton, left-footed strike. Blocked. Telfer wins it back. Endo. On Coney. Endo.
Very compact and tight in the middle of the park for St. Louis. If TFC2 are going to have joy, I think it'll either be in transition or looking to create overloads out wide, shifting that ball across the park quickly.
Ali Hodzic. Jackson. Walls. Aubrey steps up, and there's Endo. Taken down, wins the foul.
Aubrey's quietly having a good game at the back there. A couple of very good defensive headers there. His timing's perfect. Steps up, wins the ball.
Johnson gives that away. There's Valesky. Nice one touch. Comes down for Bierman, and he's taken down, and it'll be a free kick in a great spot for St. Louis.
Malik Johnson just panics a little bit under pressure. He's not used to being in the middle of the park. Normally, we touched on it, Matt. He's used to playing out wide, turns the ball over, tries to win it back for his team. Bierman's able to get in front of him, draws a contact foul. Easy one for David Berry to call.
Looked almost a little bit accidental, but definitely a call.
Players are getting so smart in today's modern game, where as soon as they get across a defender and feel a little bit of contact, they'll go over, and it's enough for the referee to give it.
Well, they've got Mirkovic there as well as...
This is exactly where Howe scored from in the last game. Looks like the big center half might take
Howe
it.
and Ali Hodzic are there as well. Cavalluzzo stops it easily. It was Ali Hodzic who ended up taking it.
Ali Hodges strikes it extremely well, bends it round the wall. Tricky one for Cavalluzzo, and it bounces just before him. Picks up a bit of pace off the turf, but his handling's excellent. Keeps hold of it, no rebound at all.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit nikesoccer.com. In the 36th minute here in Toronto, no goals yet between Toronto FC 2 and St. Louis FC. Hamilton pulled down by Ali Hodzic. Free kick Toronto.
Hamilton does well just to roll the defender, gets in front of Ali Hodzic, and Hodzic sticks his leg out. Another good opportunity to bring Big Onconi Aubrey forward. Sebastian Endel's qualities we touched on earlier, Matt, is so good from these situations. He's either got that flat driven ball to the back post, or he can also whip it in like you're trying to score at the back post.
Doesn't quite get where he wanted to on that one. And Morgan not able to defend it off out for a corner, but they've won the throw.
Ashton Morgan, big goal-scoring machine, scored last week. Got his first goal in over 100 appearances in the MLS as well for the first team. Great to see him coming back from a metatarsal injury. Lots of football to go in both TFC2 and TFC season.
Comes down to Morgan. Trying to work his way through. Not able to. And here's Valesky.
Aubrey does really well there to just delay it, allow players to get back a little bit like what Onconi did before. Find Valesky there one-on-one in open field. I'd really get at him there. Takes the easy option, turns out, keeps his team in possession.
Walls. Leva.
Little skip to the step of Ben Spencer tonight. Working hard, closing players down on the back of scoring last week.
There's Ledbetter. Played through for Valesky! Christian Valesky opens the scoring for St. Louis.
Goal all starts, Matt, for me, coming from a TFC2 player not tracking his run here. All of a sudden, Ledbetter's in a little bit of space. It's a wonderfully timed diagonal run on top of a straight ball. The weight on the pass is perfect. Look at the weight on this ball from Ledbetter. Just puts it into the path of Valesky. Valesky squibbles, hits it first time, knows where the goal is, rifles it over top of Cavalluzzo into the back of the net. First goal since scoring against TFC2 back in June.
Stole my thunder, Terry. I was just going to say that. No goals since that game on June 2nd, over 2 months nearly 3 without a goal for Christian Valesky. It's his 5th of the season.
Similar type of goal as well, Matt. Sorry if I cut you off there, to the goal he scored against TFC2 back in June. Just pulling off the defender's shoulders. What was so good about it is the timing of the run, but also the weight of the pass of Ledbetter just to play it into his pass so he can strike it first time. Wonderful goal. Though, having said all that, that goal doesn't happen if you track that run of Ledbetter right at the beginning of that phase of play.
The bad news for TFC2, they are just 1-12 when the opponent scores first. And that one was 5 days ago, Terry.
I think TFC2 have them just where they want them right now, going on that game. No, it's difficult. Obviously, when you concede and you've got a very, very young team, not a lot of experience out there on the pitch, sometimes the young players' heads go down. But we saw that last week, the character and the fight in the team to not give up. And I think, bar that goal, I think defensively TFC2 have been very comfortable tonight, and their passing's been slick in possession. Just have lacked that cutting edge, a couple of good opportunities off set pieces. A couple of good blocks stopped from St. Louis, stopped TFC from going out.
I think the most surprising thing about that stat is no draws. 1 win, 12 losses. They've certainly equalized after conceding the first goal, but then, you know, given up further goals on top of that. But looking to change that stat line again here tonight. Telfer floats that in. A little bit heavy on the back post.
It's just little things like that that takes the stuff, knocks the stuffing out of you a little bit when you open your foot up and you don't get your cross into the box like that after you've just conceded. Here's another look at the goal. Look at that diagonal run from Valesky. Just pulls off Aubrey's shoulder. There's no way Aubrey's going to get there. Valesky's already on the move. Aubrey's flat-footed, and it's a great strike first time over the shoulder of Cavalluzzo. Nothing Cavalluzzo can do about that. Real difficult goal to defend as well, Matt. That diagonal run when you've got a player actually running across the park with the ball, and if you time it perfectly, your back 3 or back 4 can look extremely static, and it's tough to catch players either offside.
Aubrey. James. Johnson. Loses the handle there.
Just forcing it a little bit, Malik Johnson. After 1 or 2 mistakes, it's important. You just buy a pass, keep it simple for 2 or 3. Does well to win the ball back for his team. Just play your way back into the game. There definitely is, though, a nice air of expectation that something is going to happen when Malik Johnson does get on the ball. But you want to be doing your little bit of magic in the final third, not around halfway.
Here's Endo. Johnson. We're in the 43rd minute here, so approaching halftime. St. Louis up 1-0 on a goal from Christian Valesky.
St. Louis have done a very good job in the middle of the park, just picking up second balls as well. Not only has their passing been extremely clean, but any second balls or balls that have bounced off players, they've picked up.
Christian, sit. DJ.
There by Telfer. And I believe they call Telfer for the handball. Free kick coming to Toronto. So we heard one of the players yell for a handball. And that kick from Cavalluzzo, poor quality, sends it straight out. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL. Ali Hodzic trying to pick out Valesky. There's Brian James intercepting on Coney. Endo. Brian James. Spencer. Endo. Malik Johnson. Johnson punched away. Diving to his left and knocked it away with his right hand, Devala Goric.
What a great opportunity. Great awareness from Malik Johnson to know where the space is. Takes it away from the midfielder. Just bends it around the center half. Pleva, but watch the footwork here of Goric to get over. That extra step allows his body to get over, and then with his right hand, he punches it out for a corner.
Spencer not able to get a touch to that. James lofts it back in. Punched back out. There's McCrary. Endo. Endo taken down, wins a free kick. And Jason Bent pleading for his team to move quickly as we're into stoppage time here in the first half. 1 minute of time added on, and we are approaching the end of that minute. TFC2 will probably be given just the opportunity to generate something off this free kick. Spencer gets ahead to it, a little bit more vertical than he had hoped, and there is the whistle for halftime. It's a 1-0 lead for St. Louis at the break.
I think overall, minus a goal, it's been a pretty solid half for TFC2. I think to improve, I think McCreary and Telfer need to play a little bit higher up, try to get the ball in more threatening areas. If the ball movement can be a little bit quicker, get it out wide. There's a lot in the middle of the pitch. It's extremely congested. Also, Hamilton hasn't really been able to run in behind Pleva and Walls, try to look to get in behind. I think that's where TFC2 in recent months has looked very dangerous, looking to just play it into the channels in behind. Also, I think the back three, Ashton, Aubrey, and Onconi, for not playing a whole bunch of football together, they've been pretty cohesive, and the back three have been excellent. Also, Cavalluzzo's stood on his head a couple of times.
No goals yet for Toronto, but perhaps you can feel one coming. They're down 1 at the half, however. Christian Valesky, his 5th of the season. Toronto had some opportunities, but nothing to show for it. Terry and I will break down the first half when we return to Toronto. The sun has set, a beautiful sky. We're now under the lights here at the Ontario Soccer Centre in Vaughan. At the half, St. Louis leading Toronto by a score of 1-0. Back inside our broadcast booth, I'm Matt Antonio with Terry Dunfield. As mentioned, 1-0 for the visitors after 45. And Terry, just your general thoughts on that opening 45.
I think St. Louis did a very good job of congesting the middle of the park. They're playing a box in there, and against the 3-5-2 system, the way TFC2 play, they're really smothering them in midfield. For me, TFC2 need to move that ball out wide or possibly in behind. The two midfielders, Malik Johnson and Endo, they're happy to get the ball to feet, but could they maybe make a couple runs into the channel, try to stretch St. Louis? For St. Louis, more of the same. I think they've been very compact, and Wesley took his goal extremely well.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that opening half. There were some chances for Toronto, just not able to capitalize. We'll start with an opportunity from St. Louis.
Both sides look very dangerous off set pieces. There we see Telfer come out, make a great block. Here we're going to see a good save from Cavalluzzo. This off a shot from Delgard. Cavalluzzo, very good shot stopper. He's athletic, and I love how he picked up that rebound. Here we see TFC2 looking dangerous. Off of a corner, the ball comes out to Hamilton with his one sledgehammer of a left foot. He smashes it towards goal, but the captain, Mirkovic, makes a wonderful block. Ball here, TFC comes out to Telfer. Endo does well. He's going to set up Malik Johnson for a shot. Malik Johnson, I thought, had more time than what he recognized. Just rushes it a little bit.
And finally, Christian Wesley breaks through for St. Louis.
Yeah, comes off of some very good interplay. Ledbetter's runs not tracked. He comes inside into a little bit of space. It's a wonderfully timed diagonal run from Wesley, and he smashes it home over top of the shoulder of Cavalluzzo.
And just before halftime, Toronto came close to leveling.
Again, Endo's involved, picks out his fellow center midfielder, Malik Johnson. It's wonderful, brilliant awareness from Malik Johnson. He tries to bend it into the top corner, and it's a great save from Gorick. His movement of his feet are so good.
If you're Jason Bent inside that locker room right now, a solid first half, but obviously some things to work on. What's the message to the team?
I think he needs to try to get his wing backs a little bit higher, try to get the ball out wide.
And for St. Louis, what will their plan of attack be here in the second half now that they've got the opening goal?
More of the same. It's important that you don't sit back and rest on your laurels on that 1-0 lead away from home, which is easier said than done. I think defensive set pieces that want to tighten up a little bit. Endo's delivery's been excellent, and a couple of times Jordan Hamilton's been able to get free.
Toronto looking to win back-to-back games for the first time this season. St. Louis, they've alternated wins and losses over their last 5, and if that holds true, they're in line for a win here this evening. Lots of action still to come. Second half when we return to Toronto. St. Louis up 1-0.
Make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Week 23 of the 2017 USL regular season was one for the record books. 5 midweek matchups took center stage as the league's total attendance record was shattered. Wednesday night saw the USL surpass the 1.5 million mark in total attendance, pushing past 2016's total attendance in just 6.5 weeks after the league passed the 1 million mark. FC Cincinnati continues to lead the league in average attendance with more than 20,000 fans per game, with Sacramento Republic FC not far behind. But notably this season, the league has more than doubled its number of teams averaging more than 5,000 fans per game, with 9 clubs above that mark. Those 9 teams, which include newcomers Reno 1868 FC, Ottawa Fury FC, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, sit in the top 11 in average attendance nationally outside Major League Soccer. With the season pushing on, the 2 million attendance mark is on the horizon. As the race for the 2017 USL Cup playoffs heats up, the league's fans are not cooling down. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
Why do you not get me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey. She's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Visit the new USLsoccer.com. Get the latest news and live stats in your social media hub. Become a fan of the USL on Facebook for exclusive league news and interactive content. Follow @USL on Twitter to become a league insider, join club conversations, and have a chance at exclusive giveaways. Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow @NikeSoccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. All USL regular season and playoff games are available live, free, and in HD on YouTube. Connect with the USL YouTube channel today.
Picturesque sky here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. Toronto will be looking for an equalizer when we get underway in the second half. Let's take a look at the stats from that opening 45. 7 shots apiece, so the offense is coming. 2 on goal for Toronto, 3 for St. Louis, and of course that 1 extra is the difference. And the 1 yellow card that we saw all the way back in the 7th minute to Pleva. And I have one more stat to add on to that, Terry. Interesting tidbit that some people might like. Toronto at home on Wednesdays this season. Today is Wednesday. 1-0-2. So unbeaten at home on Wednesdays in 2017. And they'll be hoping to win back-to-back games for the first time this season. Don't be discouraged by the fact that they're down 1-0. Let's take a look at what happened on Saturday in a remarkable game down in Charlotte. That's the goal from Ashton Morgan with Toronto down 2-0. They're already up a man. This is in the, I believe it was the 65th minute. And there's Ben Spencer. In hockey, they'd say going hard to the net.
Rifles it into the back of the net.
That is the goal that is up for USL Goal of the Week, looking to be the second TFC2 player to capture that award this season. You can go vote at uslsoccer.com. Last time I checked, he was in the lead.
Yeah, great finish. Real striker's goal, and to show composure at 2-2 right at the end of the game, to be able to hold the ball up, know where the goal is, with your back to goal, turn in one motion and smash it home. Sweet as it's not with his so-called weaker right foot.
TFC2 have been, I mentioned the Wednesday at-home stat, but at home in general, they've been pretty good lately. 2-0-1 in their last 3, 3-1-3. So results in 6 of their last 7 games. Of course, one of those games being at BMO, the draw with Charlotte. But they've really turned into a team that is going to put in a solid performance and very likely get a good result here at Ontario Soccer Center.
I think that's the key word, performance. I think the team's been playing a lot better in recent weeks, and what comes with that is results. I think the team's been a lot more positive with a higher defensive press. They're turning the ball over in better areas. There's now a threat in behind. I think the team, there's a little bit more continuity. There's not been quite as much movement, whether it's through injuries or players dropping down for the first team. And also one thing TFC2 have cut out is individual errors in the last couple of months.
Of course, that one loss, the time they scored 3 goals, lost 4-3 on Canada Day. Let's take a look at some of the skillful plays from TFC2 players in the opening half. And there's some quality players that can really make things happen, Terry.
Here we see Jordan in a wonderful dribbling situation. Wald does extremely well. Telfer a little nutmeg past Ledbetter. And then here we see just a flick over his shoulder, some strength from Jordan Hamilton. Endo, probably technically the best player on the pitch for me. He's got such good awareness of space, but he's also got some sublime individual skill.
No changes made at halftime on either side, and we are ready to go here in the second half.
Just from the first half, I mentioned, Matt, that Delgard played for Oklahoma in the NASL. He actually played for Oklahoma in the USL. So my apologies to all Delgard fans and the St. Louis organization. Yeah.
Excellent, Terry. We are underway here in the second half. Toronto possessing, moving from left to right on your screen. They are in red.
And by the way, he looks a wonderful acquisition. Good player, wonderful balance. He's got the ability to go past the player, and he's got pretty good vision in that attacking midfield to just slide other players in. I felt like I had to say it, but I mean it.
Good punch forward. A little Superman dive there from Gorek. Coney does well to keep Toronto in possession. McCrary. On Coney. Cavalluzzo for Aubrey. Endo. Hamilton. Endo plays that through referee David Barry. And a lot of space on the left side for Telfer. Telfer will have a go at it! And it's a good diving save to the left by Gorek.
Great move. What a brilliant start to the half from TFC2. Starts with Endo, plays a great diagonal. Malik Johnson came inside to create a little space for Telfer. Malik Johnson then goes out wide to create space for Telfer to come inside. strikes it with his left foot. It's a save Gorick should make. Parries it out for a corner kick.
Endo sends it in, looking to find Spencer on the near post. It's a little bit short, well defended by St. Louis, but Toronto still with it. It's McCrary. Lofted, looking maybe for Morgan, comes down for Hamilton. Again, Telfer, looking to make something happen. Crossing in, trying to find Spencer. Again, well defended, and now St. Louis will be able to carry it towards midfield. Telfer gets his boot stuck in on Bierman, and he's whistled.
Valesky just called for using his body just to push Onconi out of the way. Onconi had position on him. It's a little bit too physical from Valesky.
Pressure there from Bierman, forces Endo to retreat, but able to push up for Spencer. James, Johnson with a head of speed, trying to find McCrary on the near side, able to keep it in, not able to find Hamilton.
What a great change of pace from Malik Johnson in the middle of the park, just to pull away from Ali Hodidic, and then just pushes it a little bit wide for McCreary. McCreary does well to wrap his foot around it. Unfortunately, Ben Spencer had gone past that near post.
There's Daniel Jackson, dispossessed by Onconi. James. Endo. Dalgard able to slip away. Chased down by Endo and Malik Johnson. Plays through for Valesky. Valesky looking for his second. Oh, and it just goes wide. Tough angle to beat Cavalluzzo from there. But a good offensive push from St. Louis.
Yeah, great little slip pass from Dalgard. Valesky gets Ashton Morgan. Nice little matchup there. Ashton does well to keep him wide. Valesky cuts inside, goes out wide, and Cavalluzzo has his angles right. Misses the far post.
McCrary, Hamilton fans on it. In a glorious spot. Gives a thumbs up to McCrary, indicating that he liked the pass, but he could not put a finishing touch on it.
Rightly so. What a ball from McCreary. Whips it in, just on his back foot a little bit. Hamilton can't guide that towards net.
Not quite sure what Onconi was looking for there, but no red shirt in the area as he lofts that forward.
Yeah, I think he was looking for a diagonal ball right out to Telfer. Just forced it a little bit. Might have been better to put his foot on it. Cruyff go back to Cavalluzzo, keep TFC in possession.
Endo trying to slip away from Jackson. Wins the free kick. Well, we've got a second here. Let's take a look at that opportunity from Jordan Hamilton.
I love this from McCrary. Doesn't even take a touch. Puts it into a real dangerous area. Beats that near post man. If I think it's on his left foot, I think Jordan Hamilton scores. Just a touch ahead of it. Can't quite connect with a half volley. Great quality from McCreary to just feel it into that space. Gets it over top of that near post man.
6 minutes into the second half, though, Toronto has had some opportunities already.
Both chances have come from wide areas from McCreary and Telfer. I wouldn't be surprised if Jason Bennett at halftime said, try to get that ball out wide.
He was obviously listening to our halftime analysis.
I actually sent him a text. No, I'm only joking.
It's a little bit of miscommunication, it looked like, in the box there. And McCrary in the thick of things. And Devala Goric is down in some discomfort. I believe he collided with his teammate Ryan Howe.
McCrary, he's not a malicious player. Malik Johnson tries to thread it in behind the fullback and goalkeeper. You can see how he's just ushering it back to his goalkeeper. McCreary's got every right to go for the ball. Just catches goalkeeper Goric on the back of the head.
Fans, stay up to date with the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XMFC Channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XMFC will air the USL Game of the Week. Check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Looks like Devala Goric is good to stay in. Back up, Adam Grinwis did get up during that stoppage, but not warming up with any sort of enthusiasm, so do not believe a substitution is at hand.
A couple times now on Coney Aubrey, just wanting an extra little bit of time on the ball. Valesky's having none of it. He works his socks off up top. When that ball comes to you as a center half, you need a picture in your head.
Ryan Telfer plowing forward, out wide for Hamilton. Hamilton lofts in, trying to pick out Spencer. Comes down to McCrary.
Important header from Walls in the middle.
Ryan Telfer once again just putting his head down and charging forward. McCrary still with it, still looking for a cross. Delivers to Endo. Now Endo looking to deliver. Played in for Spencer. And he can't get around Devala Goric, and that nearly looked like it was going to develop very similarly to how Christian Valesky scored in the first half.
Good spot, Matt. Endo does really well. He gets a little bit of an invitation to go into that space. He takes it with both hands. His pass is just a touch heavy. A little bit later, I think Ben Spencer gets a good run from the big fella up top.
We get an opportunity, perhaps we can get another look at Ryan Telfer. I just love the way he just puts his head down, charges forward, and dares the defenders to make a play to stop him.
Great awareness from Brian James. He'd already checked his shoulder, knew that Malik Johnson was in Acres.
Johnson pushes forward, up on the left for Telfer. He gets taken down. That'll be a free kick, and it will be another yellow card. This one to Austin Ledbetter.
Two of the back four have now got yellows. Telfer just beats Ledbetter to the ball. Such a powerful, powerful player, Telfer. Once he gets a head of steam up, he's so difficult to stop. Look how quick he is. He just eats up those yards, beats Ledbetter to it. Ledbetter probably had 2 or 3 yard head start on him. Telfer beats him. Ledbetter's already committed. That's the yellow card. Here we see his real direct run that Matt was gushing about. Movement from Jordan Hamilton was excellent to create that space. He drifted out wide. Eventually it comes into the box, and it's a real important header from Walls.
Am I wrong to gush about it?
No, it was beautiful, and that's Telfer at his best in full flow, being direct, driving at defenders, trying to commit one of them, and then look for that little slip pass like how we found Jordan Hamilton. But the middle of the park opens up a little bit by that movement from Jordan Hamilton out wide to create that space.
Hamilton trying to get a piece of it, unable to do so. There's Johnson, James. Onconi leaves for Spencer. James. I think Brandon Aubrey might have been offsides there.
Good idea from Brian James. He'd had his head up. He'd seen a little bit of a mismatch. Aubrey Mirkowicz at the back post. The captain Mirkowicz, he dropped into the back four, noticed that overload at the back post. Smart play from the captain, 30-year-old, uses all his experience. I think he's offside in the end, but just fills a gap.
I think we're going to see a couple of St. Louis substitutions shortly. A familiar face for TFC2 fans. Looks like Wesley Sharpie will be coming on.
I thought Wesley Sharpie was excellent in his couple of years at the club, the Florida native. Real consistent right back. You knew exactly what you're going to get from him every week.
Battled injuries a lot during this time here. He had an ankle injury that just didn't seem to go away. There's Valesky. Cavalluzzo off his line to knock it away, and good work from Morgan.
I think it's Onconi that gets back there. As a defender, you hear the shout. You can hear the shout up here in our wonderful commentary box. But Onconi tracks all the way back. If you don't know where that striker is, deal with it yourself. Onconi takes no chances. Yeah, just going back to Sharpie, real good professional off the pitch as well. Just got to that age of 23, 24, and at that age within the Toronto FC organization, you need to be pushing for the first team.
It's a third yellow card for a member of the St. Louis back four. This time Ryan Howe. Wesley Sharpie will be coming on here for Sebastian Dalgard.
I think this is a bit of a defensive move from Preki. Might go back to a flat four in midfield. Be interesting to see Sharpie. He might play in a right midfield role. We've seen him in that traditional right back role.
Number 7, Sebastian Dalgard. And his second substitution in the same minute, number 12, Tyler David. Coming in for number 27, Daniel Jackson.
Jackson worked extremely hard up top. Didn't get a ton of joy on the ball, but worked hard for the cause and the team. Tyler David comes in, played his college career in St. Louis. Was drafted by the Caps in 2016, didn't earn a contract. Signed with St. Louis, has 1 goal in 30 appearances. He started out front in the last game with Valesky. Here we see the Preki 4-4-2 system now, or 4-4-1-1, just with Tyler David dropping in.
There's Brian James trying to pick out McQuarrie. A lot of white shirts in the area as we approach the hour mark.
It'll be interesting whether this young TFC2 team can deal with the change in tactics, the change in system of St. Louis FC, and look to find other ways to break them down now. A lot of the time when you play against 2 banks of 4 or a 4-4-2 system, the space is in between the lines. If you can try and break the lines, try to get Malik Johnson and Endo on it in between that midfield and defensive back line.
I feel like it's correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like it's very rare to see a situation that we have right now where 3 of the 4 defenders are on yellow cards. Does that influence how you might attack the back line, knowing that they have to be a little bit more cautious?
Great point, Matt, and very good question. If you can isolate any of the back 4 now, especially in a little bit of space where you can really get after them, definitely take them on 1v1. Don't pass that ball. Try to drop your shoulder, a little trick, especially in St. Louis's half.
Tony Walls, number 24, one of the center backs, is the only of the 4 on that back line who have not been cautioned so far this evening.
I think he's had a good game.
He's been, no, I'm not going to say it.
I was fishing.
Here's Ryan Howe.
He's maybe just 5'10", 5'11". He's not the biggest center half, but he's very competitive. Got a nice little change of pace.
He's not tall, but he's built.
Yeah, and a lot of times you'll see that with center halves. Good defending from Aubrey, yeah. Pleva wins a lot in the air, and then you'll see Walls just come around and sweep up around his center half, the dominant Pleva. they've got a nice partnership going at the back. Of the 4 defenders, I've been most impressed with Ledbetter, though, the right back. He's caused some problems, set up the goal, loves to get forward. Though if I'm Telfer, as we touched on before, any opportunity to get at Ledbetter now on a yellow card, where I think we've seen Telfer's just a little bit quicker than him as well.
Yeah, Ledbetter is the right back, and Pleva, who plays beside him, both on yellows. There's Malik Johnson. Crosses for McCrary. Comes down for Endo.
Better from TFC too. The shape's a little bit better. They're picking up that second ball. The ball movement across that direct game channel. It's gone back and forth, getting crosses in.
Endo for James. Excellent little move there from Brian James. Sends out wide for Telfer.
Technically such a good player.
That's cleared to David. This will be out for a Toronto throw, and we'll see TFC2's first substitution of the match. It'll be Oyvind Alseth coming in for Brandon Onconi.
Alseth, who's had first team minutes. He actually got injured with the first team, picked up a foot injury. He's come back, been training. Good opportunity now to get some important match minutes. TFC actually brought in Hassler, Lithuanian international, who stepped up and played some important minutes in the first team's recent good run.
Got 2 goals already. And three matches he's played, 4?
Yeah, looked very good. Looks like a change of system for Jason Bend as well. Sorry, my mistake. It looks, no, he's going to stick with the back 3. Alseth, he'll just slot on the right-hand side of Aubrey, and then on the left, Ashton Morgan will continue.
Also available to Jason Bent this evening, Julian Dunn, the defender, Dante Campbell, and Matthew Serbel, and Aiden Daniels in the midfield, and Sean Hundle. And if Toronto continues to trail, I expect we might see Mr. Hundle at some point later in this game.
Great that all of the substitutes have all come through Toronto FC's academy as well.
Spencer. Ashton Morgan, Telfer, poked away from Johnson. James for Alseth. Alseth in for Endo. McCrary. And he's won the corner.
Good defending from Howe. It's been a good battle down the right-hand side of Toronto's TFC side. McCreary there, positive, tries to get the ball in, earns his team a corner kick. Good defending from Howe. Those two have been at it all night.
Hamilton went up, couldn't get to it. It's cleared as far as McCrary. Endo. Hamilton is able to get a piece of it this time, but it falls straight forward, not the direction that he was hoping for it to go. McCrary pushes forward again. Johnson not able to follow up. Foul called here on Johnson, taking down Mirkowicz.
Mirkowicz, he just buys that foul a little bit, uses his experience. when you're chasing the game, the last thing you want is stoppages like this, Matt. You want to keep that flow going. Any throw-ins, set pieces, you want to get on it, get that ball back into play, try to build a little bit of momentum. Mirkovic, very clever from him, draws the foul, slows the tempo down a little bit.
Sharpie trying to break through there, but Cavalluzzo grabs it, rolls it out quickly. Different role than what we saw with Sharpie play here in Toronto, as you mentioned, primarily was used as a right back in the midfield here this evening.
Good hold-up play from Ben Spencer, just linking up play, dropping in those little pockets. For a big man, he's got real good soft feet.
Telfer not able to deliver to Endo. Aubrey loses a battle there with Valesky. Now Valesky will just try to draw things out, but he loses possession and it's a goal kick. He's pleading for a corner. Referees disagree.
I think he might have a point. Looked like a corner kick to me. A little bit early to be taking the ball to the corner. Corner flag at 68 minutes. St. Louis a little bit hesitant to commit bodies forward.
They really have dropped into a defensive structure since those substitutions were made at the 60-minute mark.
We touched on it right at the beginning of the game, the flat 4-4-2. This is the way Preki teams have played in the past, and the way St. Louis have played all season. I think just tactically, he just tweaked it a little bit, playing that box in midfield, and really closed down, really made it compact in the middle of the park. As you see, Wes Sharpie, we touched on, is a traditional right back, playing now as a right winger, tucked in, won't bomb forward, real disciplined role for him off the bench.
McCrary, Endo to his right, a little bit heavy on that ball, had lots of space to play in for Endo and didn't deliver it well.
Yeah, he's better than that. McCrary will be disappointed. Could have easily picked out Endo's feet. If he had his head up, Ben Spencer made a great run in between the center half and fullback. Ben Spencer's fitness level's looking very good at 70 minutes. At times this season, he's looked a little bit leggy coming back from that knee injury, still full of running.
Bierman can't keep it in, Toronto throws. Barry in for Spencer. Referee lets play continue. Valesky trying to turn around Aubrey. Does well to defend, and there's Alseth. Will slow it down.
Good defending from Aubrey. Good little bit of composure and skill once he got the ball. Looked like it was a foul on McCreary earlier.
Inside 20 minutes now. Lots of time still remaining. We have seen a lot of late game action, whether it's here or at BMO Field.
Just a little bit tight and congested down that left-hand side. Brian James just needs to open up his body, come out to Olseth. That ball movement across the pitch in the 3-5-2 system, so important.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. That'll go out for a corner. It's Hamilton with a burst of speed, forcing the St. Louis defense.
That's something I've liked in Jordan Hamilton's game in the last, I'd say 2-3 years, since Greg Vanny and the coaching staff have taken over. He was a little bit one-paced, sort of coming up through the academy. There's a real dynamic, electricity to his movement now.
A little bit too heavy there for Endo. Overshot his options.
Yeah, he's dropped a couple of his set pieces, uncharacteristically short. Sometimes what you'll do is you try to go, obviously miss that near post man. He's just overcooked that one a little bit.
I left the overcook to you. I knew you would want to say it. It was in the back of my head.
Like my wife's cooking.
Now we know she doesn't watch.
She's British. Says it all.
There's Hamilton.
I can say that. I married her.
Is that how it works?
I think so. My apologies again to all the British listeners that are very good cooks. But my wife's not one of them.
It's also, what, 2 in the morning there? She's not watching. There's Wesley. St. Louis hasn't had a lot of opportunities here in the second half, but Wesley's been at the thick of it.
Yeah, anything going forward, any player that's going to get on the end of it, Matt, you nailed it, it's Wesley. Bumps into Olseth there, probably one of the best players at the club in open field defending. Very rarely do you see Olseth get beat. Should be a corner.
And it's a goal kick.
Poor decision from David Barry. If you look at,
I think the lineswoman might have made the decision there.
If you look at the shape on the ball, if that goes straight out of play, it's a goal kick, but the ball's twisting and moving. It has to be a corner kick. I hope I've got it right now that we're going to see the replay. As you see, McCrary just goes into the tackle, goes off of German for me. Should have been a corner kick.
And that's out.
You just look at how the ball's rotating. For McCrary to put that out of play, the spin on the ball would be completely different to that.
Yep. This has been the physics lesson portion of the broadcast. Hope you've enjoyed.
I'm signed up, by the way, for a referee's course to help my broadcast.
Are you really?
I am. And to actually see how hard it is.
It's a really good idea.
Thanks, mate.
I used to referee hockey and umpire baseball, and it was always good to see when there were people in the courses that were actually coaches, that they had no desire to be officials, but they wanted to learn the rules properly, as opposed to, it's easier to go to, what is it, 2-3 day course or a weekend course, as opposed to flipping through the rule book and reading everything, and they're really useful. So good on you. Maybe I should do the same.
Could have got 2 for 1.
We got a group on.
Good defending at the near post again from Aubrey. Mitch Tainer, who he's come in for. Tainer has a slight knock, picked an injury up, and that's why Aubrey's come in. It's not easy coming in for the captain, who's been excellent this year, but I think Aubrey, this has been one of his better performances on the season.
We're going to see the third substitution for St. Louis with 15 minutes to go. Wesley will be coming out. It's Tyler Feely coming on. I thought that goal that we showed earlier this year was your only one. 93rd minute.
What, 17 years of playing? We're going to have to start showing my training goals.
I kid.
Glad you're not my agent. By the way, the transfer window's still open. So if you hear a phone ring, you never know. I'm just waiting on the Coutinho move to happen.
Can we get,
so
get you transferred out of the broadcast booth and I get someone else?
So if Coutinho goes to Barcelona, there's normally a trickle-on effect, like dominoes. So if he goes
how
for
far down does the
130
trickle
million,
have to go for you to be involved?
Underground.
McCrary. And it's off the side of his foot. No, Terry, you know I joke because I was rubbish at soccer and could never come anywhere close
Too
to the level
for the backstroke
quality. I wasn't good at that either.
Endo will be disappointed with his delivery there. It was a zonal marking from St. Louis FC, and when you're zonally marking, you need to sort of almost block the Toronto FC players getting in, and it looked very porous. They're defending a good ball in. Ben Spencer or Jordan Hamilton might have been in.
McCrary, 3 white shirts around him. He's not able to feed through for Endo. And substitution coming here for Toronto. Aiden Daniels checking in for Malik Johnson.
I think Malik Johnson's had a good game today. Drifted in and out of the game a little bit, but we've seen how electric he is, his change of pace, picked the ball up in some good pockets, had that great attempt at the end of the first half where Gorick made a real good outstretched save with his right arm.
Spencer, Hamilton. Endo.
So clean in possession, Endo. I don't think he's given the ball away all day. He's been closed down extremely quickly. Anytime he gets the ball, the St. Louis FC team are like hounds. They're trying to stop him from playing. They'd much rather other TFC2 players on the ball. So composed, Endo, in tight areas.
Alseth. Perry not able to.
Just needs that picture in his head that you could see the ball from Alseth was going to come into him. All he needed was a little set to Endo and then on your bike into the channel. Just overcomplicated it a little bit. Mirkovic again drawing a foul, slowing it down. McCrary trying to make up for his mistake, a little bit aggressive. David Berry saying he's booking him for persistent fouling. He's pointing around the pitch, 4 or 5 different fouls. I think it's a little bit harsh. Might have invented 1 or 2 of those fouls.
I'm not sure. McCrary was pleading to the 4th official there that he didn't touch him. I think he had a case. I'm not totally sure there was anything to that one.
I think it's a foul. I don't think that's a booking. I think it's a foul because he's come in with a lot of intent. Doesn't really catch him. And 100%, Mirkovic uses all his experience, goes over very easily.
Here's Ryan Howe. For Bierman. Feely. Bierman. McCrary. Has to play it out. It'll be a deep throw.
I think Feely's looking to knock it past the defender and get it himself. Good covering from McCrary to put it out of bounds.
James gives it away. Ledbetter. Ali Hodzic. Played through for Feely. Comes to Feely again. Disrupted by Aubrey. Spencer for Endo.
Endo needs an option. Both Ben Spencer and Jordan Hamilton. I know there's just 8 minutes, almost 8 minutes of regulation time left. Both Ben Spencer and Jordan Hamilton are looking to run on, go in behind. You need one of your strikers when you're under pressure to show feet. That outlet ball.
Endo trying to play it up off to the far side, and it's intercepted.
I think Sebastian Endo on that one was just looking to find Ashton Morgan, wanted him to just step into that space.
Allseth. James. Hamilton, a little bit of a tug on the jersey there from Tony Walls. Hamilton tries to press forward. He's well marked.
A little bit too honest from Jordan Hamilton. You could see the tug might have been able to go over there. That little tug from Walls allowed another St. Louis FC defender to get back. All of a sudden it was 1-on-2 for Jordan Hamilton. Tries to bundle through them, possibly a handball on Walls. David Berry doesn't spot that.
James right through Endo and Hamilton. Both of them looked like thought the other was going to take it. And David Berry also, from our experience with him, not shy to hand out yellows for delaying late in the game. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Would not be a surprise to see something of that nature.
Again, some great defending. Two great pieces of defending from Allseth to turn the ball over. As soon as Feeney picked that ball up in the corner, I'm thinking to myself, don't take him on, son.
There's Brian James, McCrary. Allseth. James, Hamilton, Morgan.
Very well disciplined, organized two banks of four of St. Louis FC. The balance is correct, the distances are good, angles in right across the park are good. The two in midfield, nice little double pivot. If one presses, the other one's coming around, making it very difficult for TFC2 to break them down.
Endo. Spencer. Spencer sends it over the fence. USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL. I was just about to ask Terry, do you think we see a third and final substitution? And it looks like Sean Hundle is getting his game kit on.
Be interesting to see what Jason Bent does. Does he take off, go like for like, take off Ben Spencer or Jordan Hamilton? Or does he bring on a third striker, maybe take off Brian James, a defensive midfielder, and really go for it? At this stage of the season, if there's any aspirations of playoffs, I think you need to try to pick up something tonight.
Toronto players are yelling, referee, what are we waiting for? And they're right. Looked to be just an impromptu water break there for St. Louis. No real reason to delay.
Committing just two men forward, definitely protecting that one goal lead.
Morgan does well to push that forward, but not enough red shirts in the area. But it comes down to Hamilton. Hamilton with some space. Jordan Hamilton, can he do it again? Stopped! It's out for a corner. A good diving save from Devala Goric.
All comes from Ashton Morgan doing really well. Hamilton picks up a second ball, steps into that space, gets it on his favored left foot. One touch out of his feet, strikes it, tries to bend it around Goric to the nearest post. Goric's up for it. Big, strong, safe hand from him. Paws it out for a corner kick.
So here comes Sean Hundle. Ben Spencer is the one who comes out.
Just thinking the Canadian international, Jordan Hamilton, if he could have got his boot around it, try to whip it to the goalkeeper's left-hand side, back across him into that top corner. It was just a little bit predictable that it was going to go to that near post.
It's blocked on the goal line, would not have counted anyway. There was, I believe, some
I think Hamilton a foul on
contact
Goric.
with the goalie, yep.
What a strike, though, from, I think, Brian James on the half turn. Here we see Goric going out for it. Just the right arm of Jordan Hamilton's just up around his face. And then what a strike from Brian James. And again, it's Mirkovic on the line.
And Goric, for the second time, is down.
Possibly a little bit of time wasting. He's already taken a knock to the back of the head. I think it was McCrary. This time maybe it's a finger of Jordan Hamilton catches him in the eye.
Referee David Barry, of course, making note. The added time will be awarded accordingly.
You hope so. You'd think one of the more experienced players of TFC2, maybe Jordan Hamilton, just in the ref's ear, making sure that that time's going to be added on. It's one of the things the captain of Toronto FC, Michael Bradley, does so well. Just running the game, the tempo. He's in the referee's ear. His game management is so good.
Seth will have to send this all the way back to Cavalluzzo.
Very comfortable in possession, Cavalluzzo. Very good distribution. You can fire balls back to him. He's got a great first touch.
There's Aiden Daniels, dispossessed. 4 minutes of added time.
Minimum of 4 minutes of added time in the second half.
Feely working hard. Substitute that's come in for Valesky. He's chasing everything down. Just goes into the back of Ashton Morgan. Clever from Ashton. As soon as he feels the contact goes over.
Daniels. All the way to the near side for McCrary. McCrary crosses in. Hundle was the one flying in through the back.
Yeah, it might have been Telfer, Matt. It just needed to gamble. Gamble on McCrary getting that cross into the box. I thought McCrary could have waited for Allseth to create that overload, for Allseth to come around him. McCrary takes on the fullback 1v1. It's a great ball. Telfer's just caught on his heels a little bit. He's got to gamble, get across his fullback there. Just comes in a little bit too late. Again, another wonderful ball from McCrary.
There's Telfer. Daniels. Cross is knocked away.
Yeah, good header from Pleva. Both the center halves have been excellent tonight for St. Louis FC. Been a real springboard for the team.
All Seth. Endo. Endo. Nifty move there. Will cross in. Comes down. Hondo! Sean Hondo! The substitute in injury time. Toronto's equalized.
What a goal. All comes through some excellent ball movement. Comes out wide to Endo. Chops onto his right foot. Sells the defender. Stands it up into the box. Jordan Hamilton, I think he's trying to bring it down for himself. Just comes off his left foot. Comes to Sean Hundle. Sean Hundle doesn't even think twice. Just puts his left boot through it. Has too much pace and power. Goes right past Gorick into the back of the net. Wonderful heart and character from TFC2 to stay in this game.
We've got about a minute 15 roughly to go. St. Louis looked like they were pressing immediately off the jump there to try and get back out in front.
Again, great ball movement across the pitch to get it and isolate Endo. And I think the whole fans fell for his dummy. You could see the whole stand shift.
The yellow card here has been handed out.
I think definitely some frustration from St. Louis here.
Yellow card given as well to Mirkovic. I believe there is one on each side there. I think maybe
one to Telfer.
Telfer. Let's see if we can sort this all out.
You can see Telfer and Sharpie just getting mixed up. Mirkovic comes in extremely hard. He thinks Telfer's gone over a little bit too easy. He comes in right in his face. That's unnecessary. Telfer's having none of that. Then it's just handbags, both given a yellow. I think David Barry gets that right.
Hundle pulls it down. James up for Hamilton. Does Toronto have a last-ditch effort? No, they do not. There's the full-time whistle, but it's a point stolen for Toronto. They work out a draw with St. Louis. Sean Hundle, the hero tonight in the team that in the last month and a half does not quit, Terry.
They really don't, and anytime you pick up a point and score in extra time, it's going to feel like a win, and I think TFC2 deserved it. I thought St. Louis just sat back a little bit too much, invited Toronto FC onto them, and in the end, it was some sublime skill from Endo. Puts a ball into the box, a little bit of luck off of Jordan Hamilton. Sean Hundle comes off the bench, probably his first touch of the game, sticks it into the back of the net, and then all of a sudden it's 1-1, and at 93.5 minutes, there's not really enough time for either team to push on for a winner.
An incredible finish, but we expect nothing else from TFC2 here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. Terry and I will be back in just a moment to wrap it all up. 1-1 your final score from Toronto.
Oh.
Not quite a full moon, but still some crazy events here at the Ontario Soccer Centre as Toronto FC 2 draws 1-1 with St. Louis FC. Matt Nicolantonio here with Terry Dunfield. Toronto scoring in stoppage time of the second half. Sean Hundle off the bench. Played, 5 minutes tonight?
That's all he needs.
Great bit of work for Sean Hundle. Good shift for him. Toronto continues to get results at home. We talked about that during the broadcast. Perhaps maybe a game that they would have wanted the 3 points, but they have to be satisfied with the one that they've got.
I think so. I think the performance was very good, especially on the ball. Conceding late in the first half, it's never easy. And then in the second half, against a very, very well-organized defensive St. Louis FC team, TFC2 kept coming at them. It was gritty. They didn't give up, and they got the rewards at the end. I thought going into the last 10 minutes, TFC2 looked a little bit spent, a little bit disjointed, but they dug deep. They got that opportunity, and in the end, as you say, Sean Hundle punished St. Louis FC.
They forced goalkeeper Dave Alagoric to make a few saves during that game. He was easily the more worked of the two keepers in tonight's game.
I think so, and I think that's because St. Louis FC tried to protect their lead a little bit, but in the second half, I thought TFC2 did a very good job of moving the ball from side to side, trying to create 1v1 situations out wide, and the wide players, Telfer and McCrary, did a better job of getting balls into the box for Spencer and Hamilton to attack. And in the end, that's where the goal comes from. A little bit of quality from Sabasa Endo. Looks like he's going to go on his left foot, chops to his right foot, puts a ball into the box. A little bit of luck off of Jordan Hamilton. And Sean Hundle, great instinctive play from him. Doesn't take a touch, wraps it into the back of the net.
Let's take a look at the full-time stats for tonight's game. As mentioned, 13 shots for Toronto, 5 of them on goal, and Gorick was forced to be sharp, and a lot of yellow, five cards given out.
Yeah, we see in the second half the possession stats flip-flop completely. St. Louis had more of the ball in the first half. St. Louis dropped back, tried to protect their lead, and in the end, TFC2, I think, really deserved that point.
Another result for TFC2 at home on a Wednesday. They improve to 1-0-3 at home on Wednesday nights, and they will look to continue their good run of solid play at home when we are with you next on Saturday. They'll take on the Rochester Rhinos right here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. 7:30 is the kickoff. For Terry Dunfield and our entire production crew, I'm Matt Nicolantonio. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good night from Toronto. Have an excellent Wednesday evening.
Copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.